Why we give gifts at Christmas, the ancient tradition nobody talks about. Every Christmas, we obsess over finding the perfect gift. We stress over wrapping paper, last-minute shipping, and those awkward moments when someone clearly didn't like what they got. But have you ever stopped and wondered, why do we even exchange gifts at Christmas at all? Is it because of Santa? Because of the wise men? Because of religion? Because of capitalism? Well, the real story is more surprising, more ancient, and more mysterious than you think. In fact, our modern Christmas gift tradition is rooted in pagan rituals, Roman politics, theological debates, and even a centuries-long battle over whether gift-giving was a sacred tradition or a sinful one. Today, we're diving into the strange, forgotten history behind why we give gifts at Christmas. And trust me, once you hear it, you'll never look at your holiday shopping the same way again. The first Christmas gifts weren't actually Christmas gifts. Let's start with the part everyone assumes. The wise men brought gifts to baby Jesus, so that's why we give gifts today. It's a nice idea, but it's wrong. The gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh had nothing to do with a festive exchange. These were royal offerings, a Middle Eastern tradition of honoring newborn kings. No one was wrapping presents for each other in Bethlehem. There was no tree, no stockings, no holiday celebration. In fact, early Christians didn't exchange gifts at all. For the first few centuries of Christianity, gift-giving was avoided because it was considered pagan, which brings us to the real root of Christmas gifts, the Roman festival that started everything. Long before Christmas, the Roman Empire celebrated Saturnalia, a wild, chaotic holiday honoring the god Saturn. And Saturnalia had one key tradition: exchanging gifts. Not small gifts, either. We're talking figurines, candles, food, even tips for workers. It was a time of role reversal, feasting, and generosity. Sound familiar? But here's the twist. Saturnalia wasn't just similar to Christmas. It became Christmas. When the Roman Empire adopted Christianity, they needed a way to replace popular pagan festivals without causing social chaos. So, they simply absorbed them. They put Christmas right on top of Saturnalia's dates. And with it, they absorbed its traditions, including gift-giving. So if you want to blame someone for your holiday shopping bill, blame the Romans. Santa Claus wasn't a jolly gift giver at first. Now let's talk about Santa, or rather the real person behind him, Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas lived in the 4th century and secretly gave gifts to the poor. Most famously, he tossed bags of gold through the window of a poor man's home so his daughters could afford a dowry. In the earliest stories, Nicholas wasn't a cookie-eating, toy-making icon. He was more like a stealthy, medieval Batman. Over the centuries, his legend spread through Europe. December 6th, St. Nicholas Day, became a small gift-giving holiday. Children would leave out shoes, and Nicholas would fill them with coins or treats. But this was still separate from Christmas. It took centuries before the two holidays merged. The church didn't want Christmas gifts. Here's something strange. For hundreds of years, the Christian church actively discouraged Christmas gift-giving. They saw it as too pagan, too materialistic, too similar to Saturnalia. So how did gift-giving come back? Short answer: Europeans kept doing it anyway. By the Middle Ages, winter gift-giving traditions were everywhere. Yule offerings in Scandinavia, New Year's gifts in France, St. Nicholas shoes across Germany. The church eventually gave up and embraced the idea, but with a twist. Gifts were reframed not as pagan tokens, but as reflections of the gifts given to Jesus. That's when Christmas became the holiday of generosity. But hold on, we still haven't reached modern Christmas yet, because the holiday almost died entirely. The Puritans outlawed Christmas. In the 1600s, the Puritans of England and colonial America despised Christmas. They saw gift-giving and feasting as sinful, wasteful, and disorderly. So they banned Christmas. No gifts, no celebration, no fun. Shops stayed open. Churches stayed closed. And if you were caught celebrating, you could be fined. That means in early America, Christmas was illegal for decades. So how did gift-giving come back from that? Enter Charles Dickens, the book that saved Christmas. In 1843, Dickens published A Christmas Carol, a story that reframed Christmas as a time of generosity, compassion, and goodwill. It exploded in popularity. Suddenly, Christmas wasn't about drunken revelry or forbidden rituals. It was about family, kindness, and giving to others. Victorian society embraced the idea wholeheartedly. That's also when Christmas trees, holiday cards, and yes, gift-giving surged back into popularity. America soon followed with one major addition: Santa Claus as we know him. Santa becomes a marketing icon. By the late 1800s, American companies realized something. Christmas gift-giving meant profits. Stores began promoting holiday shopping. Department stores created elaborate window displays. Santa started appearing in malls. And in 1931, Coca-Cola launched an ad campaign that cemented the modern Santa. Jolly, red-suited, cheerful, and ready to deliver presents. Gift-giving was no longer just tradition. It was business, but even then, there was a deeper meaning still holding on. So why do we really give gifts? After thousands of years, overlapping cultures, religions, and reinventions, why do we still give gifts at Christmas? Because across all those traditions, pagan, Christian, commercial, the meaning remains the same: to show generosity during the darkest time of the year. When winter threatened survival, gift-giving built community, trust, and hope. It was a reminder that we're stronger together, and today, even with Amazon wish lists and gift receipts, the core idea is still there. We give to reconnect, to reaffirm bonds, to say you matter. So the next time you wrap a present or stress over what to buy, remember, you're participating in a tradition older than Christmas itself. If you enjoyed this deep dive into holiday history, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want more surprising stories behind everyday traditions, make sure you subscribe. This is the history behind simple things, wishing you warmth, wonder, and meaning this holiday season. See you in the next one.